So, welcome to my first podcast with my good friend Erebos991. I will also link his Twitter profile underneath this video, and he's going to stay anonym during this whole podcast thing. This is something we plan to do more often, so you can, I think every 2 weeks or so we will get into this topic, or we will do a little podcast. And today's topic will be a current recap of the last few weeks, and also how we position ourselves and what we think about the bull market phase, how we should invest or how we invest during that time. And yeah, that's basically the whole thing we're going to talk about today. So Erebos, let's start with the question. What did you do the past week?
Well, it's an interesting phase because it's the beginning of the cycle, the bull cycle. So you have to be really careful about how to deploy. So basically what I've been doing is working on my positioning. It wasn't quite right. I realized I didn't have enough spot bags because you can approach it many ways. But personally, what I like is I'm going to have maybe 80% of my portfolio on spot positions. I won't touch that. And then I have 20-ish% that will be like rotation capital. So I can do a swing short-term trading basically. And so also it's you can get some FOMO. For example, like Celestia has been going crazy, and it's sad because I was looking at it but didn't pull the trigger. Anyway, so yeah, it's just basically thinking hard about what do I want to own, and for how long I'm going to stay in it. And also, of course, watching everything that's new. And the last thing is I've been studying gaming a lot because to me, it has a lot of upside. It's the best narrative we have this bull market. So yeah, it's just basically preparing the next few months and years. What about you?
Actually, I'm doing a bit the same. So I also look at new projects which are currently launching or are in the launching phase. So for now, I haven't positioned myself in my long-term holds yet. I think there are some interesting plays already out there. For example, the LSDFi space. So everything which is focused on to bring more capital efficiency basically to all the LSDs. And I think this sector will be quite big. So this is like the higher Q side of my portfolio. And then I'm also looking at some coins on chains like Base, which are maybe in a sector that is, normally not what you want to have in your portfolio when it comes to like fundamentally strong projects. One sector could be like meme coins. So I'm also looking at that. And yeah, basically, I'm just researching a ton. I do some like short-term narrative plays, but not with a lot of my capital. So this is usually just like a pump and dump thing I do over maybe a couple of months, where I look at narratives that could be forming in the future. For example, Arbitrum Odyssey is launching, I think, at the end of December or start of January. So I'm looking also at small caps on Arbitrum right now, but it's like a pretty hard way to do it because most of the new coins don't really have like high liquidity in them, so it's quite hard to find them at the moment. But yeah, basically that's what I'm doing, and also saving some capital on the side for some short-term stuff. I know the Ponzi schemes are going to get back into crypto, and I want to be early in them. And if I know I'm early, then I also will have some capital left over for basically getting into these. And usually
Cool.
Yeah,
Normal
stuff like everyday crypto. Nothing has changed. But I think also the environment is slowly changing. I think the inflation rate dropped actually and the market yet haven't really responded to it. So I think it's going to be an interesting time now. We saw like a big pump now. I don't know if it's sustainable over the next 2 to 3 months, but let's
Well,
see.
it's a tricky spot. I see a lot of traders talking about that because in the end, the ETF is just so close that no
Yeah,
one really wants to sell. But we'll get a pullback eventually. Maybe it's now, maybe
yeah,
it's like just before the ETF. That would be likely also like people de-risking into it. Also, it could be the ETF itself being a big pump and then we retrace some and we consolidate. So yeah, just expect some volatility. But personally, I just feel like it's not a time to be out of positions. You just have to just buy your bags, sit on it, and then yeah, you can do some short-term trading, but pretty much it's just the beginning. So
yeah,
just chill, wait a few months, and it's gonna be all right. But it's
yeah,
true, kind of like crazy. You see people already gambling like crazy, getting liquidated, and it's a lot. But I mean, it's just the vibes we want, and it's
yeah, exactly.
gonna continue, keep happening for a long time.
Yeah, and I have like the Instagram channel and also write with a lot of my followers, and what I see is that a lot of new people coming into the market. Like I think nearly 90% of every new follower I get is someone who just started with crypto.
Damn.
And usually this is like not a good metrics. Usually that means we get too much capital or too much exit liquidity in the market. So I heard like a few people talk about the ETF as a sell and use event. And when I look at like the new followers I get into my account and the hype which already exists around Bitcoin, yeah, it could be like a short-term sell and use event. I think also long-term we will see, or in the next few months, Bitcoin will go up 100%. I'm pretty sure about that. Because like the ETF allows so much new capital to get into crypto,
Yeah.
even through ways we don't even think about right now. For example, pension funds. I heard a thesis on that, that pension funds can now invest through the ETF into Bitcoin. And I think this capital, which is coming through the pension funds in the US, so massive that the whole market will, I think the next 10 years will be quite interesting.
Yeah, yeah, we are early.
Yeah,
It's but it's true. It's interesting. I don't know what's the best way to look at normie inflows. I mean, I saw something about Coinbase trending on the Apple Store too. So I think it's the early normal people joining, but
yeah,
it's nowhere near the top. And of course, it's just we're not gonna just end the bull run in 2 months. But
yeah,
it's just patience and, well, as we said, doing research and being ready for it when it really gets crazy in like a couple months.
yeah, yeah. I'm totally with you. And also, I think most of them are buying XRP. I saw so many people message me, yeah, I bought XRP with $15,000. And I'm like, why? But I think I can understand, man. On Instagram, all you see is like people posting stuff on XRP. I heard something about like Dubai is now allowing XRP for, I haven't looked into the news yet, but something quite interesting happened with Dubai and XRP, and now people are bullish on XRP again.
Yeah.
And I personally, I hope they don't get liquidated. I hope they don't lose too much money. But let's see.
Well, I mean, the biggest risk for them is just XRP is going to do a 2-3x in the bull and we're going to make 20x. But, they
Exactly.
learn, they can learn. I mean, when I joined also, I was a complete retard, like just buying whatever. So you can learn. Yeah, I guess people
Yeah.
can also look at what you produce, the content to get educated and hopefully
Yeah.
better projects.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I basically give them all my secrets already on my Instagram. Basically, all they have to do is just listen and implement. But I think that's kind of hard for some people. And they don't want to do what like people who are already longer in the market are doing, and they just listen to the big accounts, which most of them are bullish on XRP. But yeah, as you said, I think a 2 to 3x on XRP could happen, but we will make like 20x minimum.
I mean, it's optimistic, but yeah, depending on your portfolio and everything.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, exactly. Like just XRP is gonna basically do nothing compared to the rest of the market. So yeah, I don't know why people like it. Anyways, yeah, and so the market is crazy and it's gonna get crazier. That's pretty much the summary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to get very crazy. And to be positioned now or over the next like 2 to 3 months, I think this is like the golden window. Everything after that, let's see. The Bitcoin halving is also close. So yeah, I think it's going to get interesting over the next month or next year in general. Okay. So we already talked about like the bull run is coming. We are pretty much, yeah, we are pretty optimistic on that. I think there are a lot of signs that we are slowly getting into a bull run, or first signs of bull run are showing up. How do you think, or what is basically a key indicator for you that signify the beginning of a real bull market?
Well, it's mostly about the price of Bitcoin. So that's just basic. But of course, you also have some rallies that are just a bounce, but it's not going to do anything. So, I mean, we talk about that often. It's about the cycle. So we had the bear market. It's logical that then we get a bull. But yeah, this time we have the ETF. So that's pretty much the entire thesis. But in terms of like concrete things, well, people talk about that too, like the stable coins inflows, and it's like bottoming now. It actually ticking a little bit up. So you can also look at that as a sign that new money is entering the market. And as you said, also like you can look at new people joining. So it can be like engagement on YouTube or new follows. I don't know. Well, Google search might be a metric too. So. But for me, it's mostly, and all of us, it's mostly about price. Like if Bitcoin is pumping, then it's, well, I mean, at the end of at the beginning of a full long-term cycle. But it's true. I don't know. It's more like we know it. It's kind of difficult to tell if you have a checklist of what needs to happen before a run. But sorry, I don't know about what I'm missing. Tell me.
I think there are a few signs which point into or which point on that we are currently, or we are entering a bull market phase. For me, it's also adoption, because when you look at the last few starts of the bull markets, it always was like the adoption also increased over time, and the adoption rate is like currently quite high. We see ETF approvals in Hong Kong. Oh, not Hong Kong. Was it in Hong Kong? I am not
I think so.
sure. Yeah. So people can buy now Bitcoin ETFs in Hong Kong. There's also a lot of money which will flow into crypto. People always like forget about China, but there's so much money in Asia in general. We always look just at the ETF in the States.
But it's separated like with the language and everything. Yeah, we don't pretty much know what's going on there. And also they are not like really free. You know, they have like restrictions on what they're doing. I have no idea what's going on in China, but yeah, a lot of whales are Asian.
Yeah. I think also like the biggest market manipulators come from China, out of Asia. So yeah, there's a lot of money sitting there, and I think a lot of money will also flow into crypto from the East. But I think when you think about like catalysts, then it's always like the West, which starts like the pump, because people, I would say people in the US are usually the people who like just buy something when news are coming out. And I think this has to do with mentality. I think the Asians are usually like a bit more secure in what they are doing. or at least this is like what my feeling was when I was there. And the Americans are like, okay, I do it now. Like you hear of, for example, XRP is a good example of that. You hear something about XRP, people just get into it. Don't think about it. Don't do fundamental research. The Asian people I talk to are all like, oh yeah, I really have to learn something about crypto before I start investing. But this is just a generalization. I mean, not everyone
because
is.
they're also big on gambling. So,
Yeah,
Korea,
true.
and also I know they love casinos in China, so
Yeah,
it's kind of mixed. And I don't know, it's not the
yeah,
same profile, I guess, also like who's going into crypto. And but I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a mystery, but of course they have money and they're interested too.
Yeah, yeah. So to summarize, basically, I think the adoption rate is something which we have to look at, and I think the adoption is rising like never before. Big companies are using crypto even through the bull market. I don't know if you heard of like the pilot program of SAP, this big business solution, and they basically, I think, used USDC on, I think it was Optimism, but maybe it was just Ethereum to do global transactions through their software. And they tested it with a few clients already. I think this is something also a huge sign of like crypto is here to stay and not just like something which is gone in a few days or in a few years. So yeah, but yeah, I also had something interesting about like disruption, and that's crypto is like the first real innovation which disrupts very slowly, so people don't just jump on it. But I don't know, have you ever heard of it? Like normally the disruption is like from one day to another, everyone uses a new product, and with crypto it's just slowly increasing over time.
I don't know because I saw a chart about that.
Sorry, Erebus, are you still there?
Oh my bad, I was muted. Oh,
Okay,
so
no worries, no worries, no worries.
so yeah, no, because yeah, with technology now, I kind of feel, and it's actually proven, information travels much faster. So new technologies rise really quickly. If you look
Yeah,
at whatever, like old things like a radio, it took so long for it to become mainstream, and now like a new app can become big in like a few years. Like TikTok was insane. I mean, there was some money behind it and all that, but in a few years it becomes a major platform. I don't know about crypto, and it's kind of volatile because it follows the cycles. Like everybody loves crypto in 2017, and then 2020. I mean, yeah, 2019. No one is there, so it's kind of like bumpy.
yeah.
But I do feel like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, that it's happening in the background, and slowly but surely more and more believers, and yeah, it might look like it's not doing much, but I guess it's spreading fast. I don't know exactly if there was like some data on that.
Yeah, there's some data. I haven't looked. I haven't have the chart on the side, so I can't show it. But basically, there's a chart on the adoption, which is basically the disruption, or shows also the disruption of the traditional financial system. But yeah, basically, what we see is that it's rising, and another like indicator for me that I think crypto is, as you said, like very volatile, and I think, as you already said about the Asians, like they love gambling. I think that's also the case with all the people in crypto in general. So I think at the moment prices are usually, or most of the prices in crypto are created through gambling, and not like because they or not because of the intrinsic value of a project itself. So I think we will slowly see a shift over time. So let's say in the next 7 years, the intrinsic value of crypto will go up, and eventually we get to that point where the intrinsic value dictates like the prices of a few assets, not all of them. Gambling will always be a part of crypto, but I think that from time to time we see that, or we will see that the intrinsic value is that high that the price like gets created through the intrinsic value, not through the gambling value. And I think this is also the point where we see longer cycles and not just like the short ones as we have them right now. I think the intrinsic value is like slowly increasing in crypto. And yeah, I think we are still in this part where like the gambling dictates like the main prices. But I think, and as long as this is the case, the cycles will stay as short as they are. But I think when the intrinsic value rises, also like the time a cycle needs to go through every single phase will be longer. But this is something which will happen like in the next maybe 10 years. Exactly. And not in this cycle, yeah.
Yeah, because even though I'm not convinced of that 100%, but eventually it will become like Wall Street, where it's just like stocks. Yeah. It will become so big that it's not moving that much. And also, well, BlackRock is certainly gonna control everything, and that's potentially a risk actually. But well, yeah, that's the goal too. Like they're gonna pump the price a lot, corner the market, and then well, TradFi will kind of like dictate how we're trading. But at the same time, I was thinking about that too. Since it's a retail-driven, accessible to everybody, it's normal that the market is more crazy and less professional. But you have a bunch of dynamics like that. But yeah, it's true, and it's actually quite sad still that this market is just momentum and chasing narratives. I mean, even though I approach it from a like fundamental standpoint, and you can do very well just being serious about investing. Yeah. But it's true that in the end, you can do all the research you want. Someone is going to outperform you buying Shiba come rocket Inu. So yeah, it's just what it is. But at least you have opportunities for everybody, and it's not bad in the end.
Yeah, and I also think like the chances that you are one of these guys who outperform everyone who's doing like good fundamental research are pretty low. So there's like maybe 1 of 1,000 investors who is doing, or investors, gamblers, who is getting rich through meme coin. And then there are like out of 1,000, maybe like, let's say people like us, we will outperform the general market, I think, every time. And I think this one guy who got rich through meme coins, I say, okay, come. It's okay. I'm fine with it.
Then your goal is to be solid, be smart about it, but also understand how the market works.
Yeah, exactly.
I look at more and more, just even though you might not like what's pumping and why, if you can take advantage of it and participate, that's even better.
Yeah, there are always opportunities.
I look forward to a world where it's a bit more fundamental driven.
Yeah, I think it will take a long time till it's more fundamental driven. But usually what I do is like I split my altcoin allocations into I call it low IQ plays and high IQ plays. So basically more complex problems, like we talked about a project in the past, which is called Vertex. It has like a very technical side to it, and I know a lot of people will not understand it, but it's basically solving a pretty big problem, and their way to solve this problem sounds quite interesting for me, but I know beginners will not understand it. So what I like to do is like I like to have these high IQ plays in my portfolio, but also, and this was like a mistake I did in the past, these low IQ plays, so meme coins on Base, for example. Because I know they will also perform, but the high IQ plays will potentially outperform them on the long term. But I think a good mixture of both of them is what makes a good crypto portfolio, and not just like focus on these high IQ plays, because you will miss out like on so many low IQ plays that people like us who are very into the market and understand everything, we identify them pretty early. So for example, PayPal was, I saw it at, I think on the market cap rank of 400 something. I heard the first time, or saw the first time. And I think that we are able to also invest properly into low IQ plays. Meme coins are just one category in these low IQ plays. There are other ones like layer ones. Basically, every project which solves a brain dead use case. So it doesn't have to be like not a real problem solver, but it has to be like very easy to understand. For example, like the whole SocialFi stuff, which is out there. Like Friend.tech will be big. I know that because people understand what Friend.tech is, and maybe it's just like there for one bull market, but I think it will be there. That it has so many narratives, which is where it sits. Like for example, it's on Base, which is like a huge benefit. Then it's also very easy to understand. It's like a social media network. People understand this. It's not just, they don't need a college degree to understand it. And this doesn't mean like all the investors don't need a college degree or don't have a college degree, but it's like with everything. Like if you get in something new, you usually tend to invest in things that you understand, and this is a good thing. And this is why I choose like let's say I haven't planned out my portfolio completely yet, but I think I will choose like a ratio of maybe 50-50 high IQ plays, low IQ plays in my altcoin bag.
Yeah, that sounds smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the market is gonna do its thing. So it's true, it's more about what people love than what you love personally.
Yeah.
But it's difficult navigating the hype and the true value. Even like, you can forget about a lot of stuff, like even FDV is a meme in a bull market, all that. So yeah, but it's how to navigate. But one thing that's clear, even with like Celestia, that's like new coins are the game. Like even I now, I kind of don't want to touch coins that are 2 years old. But so yeah, it's interesting, and of course you're not gonna catch every pump, and we do our best.
Exactly. And this is also not, I for me personally, I don't want to catch everything. So I know a lot of people diversify above like many categories. I personally tend to invest in maximum 2 to 3 to be to stay up to date. For example, if I invest in a higher IQ player, I need to know if there's a competitor out there which has a better product or better marketing. And I can't do that if I'm active in like DeFi DEXs and DeFi lending protocols, DeFi whatever. Then I'm also active in GameFi ecosystems and layer ones and layer twos and both categories of layer twos. You know what I mean? So I try to like focus. I think this is also, it's time saving on the one hand and also profit bringing on the other. And for everyone who's listening, this is like one of my favorite advices I give to people when you just start out with crypto. You need to focus, and this is like not possible if you try to be in every narrative that's out there basically. And get good at one thing, and then you can start thinking about other things. For example, get good at understanding layer ones, and after that you can start to get into layer twos. Maybe you get good at DeFi DEXs and you understand what DEXs are, you understand which players are out there and which are like the most valuable players out there and what needs to happen to disrupt them, and if there's anything which can disrupt them. And new coins, as you said, is also like a big thing. I think crypto disrupts itself like all the time, and this is why I always like say go into new coins, because all the old projects which are out there, they solve a real problem, but their approach to do it is like outdated. And crypto will always be like, because it's so new, we'll always see like new projects coming out, approach a problem in a different way, which is maybe better. And it's easy to say, okay, it's easy to be lazy and say there's nothing which can get to the level of these old approaches. For example, XRP is a good example of it. And just be lazy and think, okay, this is like the one approach, and this will happen, and they are going to rule the world with their solution. Because technology, as you said also in the beginning, like new apps are coming out every day, and from one day to another, everyone is on TikTok and not on Instagram or any other social media platform anymore. So yeah, disruption is like a big thing in crypto, and people often tend to forget that. Yeah, and maybe what's your take on that?
Well, yeah, it's true. It's so fast moving, and well, it's funny because it makes me think about DeFi. At times, especially now, it feels like there isn't much happening, and you can just forget about it. But if you really look at it, you have some interesting stuff happening. And for example, I don't know, like if you think about a DEX, yeah, Uniswap really destroyed everything. They're the kings, but it's pretty possible that someone comes up with a better model or a different tweak on it, or even better tokenomics. And so yeah, you have to pay attention to like those moments where it's shifting. But yeah, it's true in the end, especially if you just want to make money, you should just play the new versions, new shiny objects.
Yeah.
And in the end, the tech is secondary. But I do believe that, yeah, some interesting stuff are happening in DeFi, and we'll have new flavors. There is one that is interesting, like it's called Infinity Pool, and it's basically derivatives, and they have a different approach. Like it's pretty crazy, but they use LP tokens from Uniswap to collateralize the position, and you can have like 1,000 net leverage. And I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I think it works in theory. So we might have something really interesting. Or we've been talking about like new models like Intense. So also another one where it looks more efficient than just adding pools and stuff like that. So yeah, if you don't, you can blink and you have a new model, and then it's gonna eat everyone's lunch. So yeah, it's just follow the news, and you might think something, might find something interesting.
Yeah, and always do your research. Like always get deep into research, especially in times like that. This like the best time to be in crypto, because everything is like going up a bit and you're not feeling like shit anymore. You can also talk about crypto at Christmas again, because like people see, okay, it went up and you made money and you haven't lost a bunch of money. So people are not like saying, oh damn, you invest in crypto. I really want to do that. Don't you want to get a real job? Something like that. Yeah, but it's true. Yeah, it's always like a disruption, and in the blink of an eye, everything can change.
Exactly.
But this is also what I find interesting in this whole sector, like all the changes that are happening every day. Like, I mean, the group we are together, like the projects we send inside of it, is like a new way of doing X, a new way of doing Y, and a new way of doing Z, and you can be early in that one, and that one, and that one, and in the end, it's like just focus on one thing which you find interesting and build up a big position inside of it. But yeah,
Exactly.
all right, we
a specialty. I'm the gaming bull. You still DeFi OG, so yeah, that's good.
yeah, we have like a good chemistry basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. I think it's time to say the last words. What do you want to tell the guys out there? Do you have anything in mind?
Oof. Well, I mean, no, that's interesting actually. I had a huge realization. I mean, it's basic, everybody says it, but because I trade on leverage, and I realized that I do much better if I'm on spot. I mean, it's logical, but I mean, to be precise, for instance, I use DYDX and so on leverage, and I realized that I puke much more positions when I'm on leverage because I start getting my P&L red. There is a risk of a big candle that's going to wipe me out. And so now I'm just using spot margin on Binance, and that's much better because it's still leverage, but it feels like a spot positions. So really the shift is huge because now I can hold something much longer and I'm comfier. Because I don't know, there is something about leverage where it feels risky. I'm down 2%. I'm already like, I don't like that. So you have to be careful about how you like design your trading environment. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Interesting. You're the trader, and I'm like I don't do trades at all. I mean, maybe I do trading without knowing it, but like yeah, you are the big trading guy. So you basically say leverage trading is bad for you because you get emotional after a -2%. Did I get that right? And you
Oh,
say,
I mean, it's just the way, or yeah, the way I open a trade, because yeah, on DYDX, for instance, you have your live PNL. Actually, you shouldn't look at it too much because if you're up big, you're gonna want to close it, and vice versa. But yeah, it's just that the mindset of being, I'm on leverage, but on spot, it's much comfier.
yeah.
And of course, you don't want to be like a 20x leverage and be really. But it's true, I felt like, damn, in the end, there is a huge difference in my performance if I'm doing spot or leverage. I mean, like futures, derivatives. So yeah, that's just one little thing that's gonna help me for the future.
Okay. Okay. This is an interesting lesson. Maybe next time we have another good trading lesson for the people
Yeah,
listening.
probably.
Yeah, I personally think from my side, one of the biggest things I learned in the past few weeks, let me think about it. Yeah, basically it's like when it comes to investing, especially in early projects, then the quality of the team is so important. In the last bull markets, I also looked at it, but I haven't like in fundamental analysis, I basically weighed like the different areas which I'm looking at, for example, the team or the tokenomics or whatever. And in the past, I haven't like put so much weight on the team side, especially in early projects. But it's so important that I started to switch that model. Like early projects, I focus so much on the team because the team is like basically the success driver. Without a good team, like
it makes sense because yeah, of course. I mean, there is the idea and then the execution. So yeah, of course, you can give someone the best idea ever, but of course, no, not everybody can make it work. And also some guys understand the market. I mean, the market in the broad term, they're really good at marketing and all that. So it's true that the team is the number one asset they have. Even though in crypto, I mean, fundamentals, as we said before, is not that key, but it's true. I mean, if the team is top level, they're gonna make something special.
Yeah, they could like basically turn shit into gold. So a good team is able to do that, and a bad team will always turn gold into shit. So yeah, this is like one of my biggest learnings.
But it's true. It's true. Actually, I spend a lot of time on that. A good way to do that is look at the Twitter profile of the founder, look a bit at what he's talking about, what he's following, and etc. Like, I mean, we talked about it personally. Like, Prime, which is the token of Parallel, has been pumping actually, so I'm happy about that. And I follow both. I mean, just mostly one co-founder, and the guy is impressive. Like he's always thinking about how to improve the game, and he has some pretty deep discussions there. And so I'm even more bullish when I see that, and that's key, as you said. That's a good lesson, yeah.
I think Twitter is like a good source for understanding the real thoughts of a person. So you can also look at the LinkedIn profile to check their backgrounds. But I think Twitter is like
it's their brain.
Yes, exactly.
In words, yeah, and
exactly. You can also see some red flags, like the guy
Yeah.
retweeting some charts or some bullshit. So yeah, you can definitely read a lot from a profile.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Okay, let's finish it up here.
All right.
Half an hour talking about crypto. I hope a lot of people got value from that. We will do it more often now. Let's see how often we are doing it. But I think 2 weeks. We said it every 2 weeks, right?
I mean, yeah, we will try to do at least once a month, but yeah, 2 weeks could be a good rhythm.
Yeah, and maybe in the bull market we won't do it that often because we will be quite busy, I think.
That's the thing.
So people who are listening, listen to all episodes now because maybe we are gone in the future. Okay. With that being said, man, it was a pleasure and it was nice talking to you.
Oh yeah.
And for everyone who was listening, follow for more. And the value we'll get from this podcast here, I think there are just like few. I can't think of any place on YouTube which will provide that much value. So all of them are holding it back. We won't make advertisements for other people. Okay. With that being said,
I do like listen to a lot of stuff, and you have some interesting guys talking about like VC or new projects. But yeah, like I mean, at least the good thing about us is like we are like regular guys, so we have the point of view of just the average crypto user.
Exactly.
I mean, I would say we're getting quite good at this, but yeah, like just from the trenches, we're not there yet, not there at the top.
Yeah, exactly. We are not VC guys yet. Maybe after the next bull market, we start a VC just to be like one of these guys.
Sure. I want the seed rounds, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. With that being said, let's finish it up here. Do you want to say anything? Any words?
No, just be patient and go crazy in terms of work a lot and sit on a lot of money in 2 years.
Exactly. Okay. With that being said, thank you for listening and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.